Hello everybody, this is Sal Natali here with Film Life, and I haven't posted a video in a while, so today I'm going to dive in what I've been doing the past month or so. Like I said before the intro, I haven't posted to Film Life that much lately. I am going to be working on getting better at that. But in this video, I just wanted to share what I've been doing, or at least for the better part of April. So in April, I've been working on a grad student's thesis film, Figments. It is still being edited right now, but I wanted to talk about my participation on it, along with some of the things we had going on set. So to start off, I was the director of photography on this film. For those that don't know what that is the person in charge of the imagery on camera. Basically what goes into making the picture, whether it's lighting, lenses, and camera moves. I'd be better described as the cinematographer though, because I was the one operating the camera. But basically this film is about a girl who comes home from New York City and is trying to get back into her home life living with her parents. Okay, the first thing I did is on my Snapchat I took a lot of different lighting setups and behind the scene photos. So I wanted to go through some of the lighting setups and why we had lighting in certain ways. The two major locations of this film was the girl's bedroom and then also the kitchen / dining area of the house. So those are the two things that I focused a lot on lighting and that I'm going to talk about in this video. So on the second day of production we had 3 meals with the family to cover. All being different days. So you can see my Snapchat behind the scenes of how the lighting was set up. So I had an 85mm lens on the camera, pulling it far away from the dining table, which I'll explain a bit more in a while. But the lighting setup was pretty simple. Our director's house, which this is where it was filmed, had windows all along the one side, giving a nice organic sunlight feel to the room. And then we increased it with the China ball that you were able to see in the behind the scenes video to give a nice soft light across all 3 of their faces. That was the thing, because these scenes were done in one takes. We didn't have traditional coverage of each person, so we had to light it so everyone would have appropriate lighting. The China ball was on a C-stand hanging about 3 feet in front of them, and then we had the table there. So it looks weird in the Snapchat video how close that table is to the counter and to the couch. The couch was framed just off screen, so you wouldn't know that you'd be by the living room. And we were able to be so close to the counter because of the lens's focal length. An 85mm lens gives you a nice compression on the shot. Right now I'm shooting with, I believe, a 24. And that is how we were able to give a nice separation from the table to the rest of the room, and how we had a nice blurry bokeh-y background with the rest of the kitchen. So on one of our bedroom scenes we wanted a weird surveillance-y like feel to a shot, so I put the GoPro up on the C-stand in the corner of the room above the doorway. We used the practical light, that was the night light next to the bed, so you have a sense of where that light is coming from, and that light will also be there in the viewer's minds for other scenes later in the film. And then lastly, to light the room a little better, we had a giant softbox out in the hallway shining through the doorway. Now on a more normal lighting setup, we had a Omni light in the corner pointed at the closet doorway and the ceiling to give a nice bounce, driving from where that practical light was from. That is more of a night setup that we had the girl filming by the bookcase in the corner, and you can see that camera is out in the hallway with a 35mm lens on it, giving us a nice view of the room, but also without being a super wide shot. Now the focus of this film being the way it was written out for a grad thesis, it was to have the images give an uncomfortable feeling for the audience, part of the research and process of being the grad student and other parts that our director dealt with. But we had some interesting shots where you can see here the camera we put on a slider, not to use as a slider, but to use as like a very low tripod to get low angle shots of our talent, and gives a nice unsettling vibe. We worked on putting the camera in different places, so we also locked the camera off on a tripod quite a bit to give a unsettling feeling and a like tension in the scenes. Okay, and then like I said, I was going to go into a bit of the lens selection on this film. I'm currently filming on the Sigma 18 to 35 f1.8. That was our main lens for this film, and we took it in the tighter end of the spectrum. We tried to keep it in the 28-35 range, just for compression and background bokeh. The other lens we used quite a bit was the 85mm Rokinon T1.5, and that was used for shots that we really wanted to feel the image, you know, pulling, stressed out, and a very blurry background. We also tried to do some lens whacking with that, which is the process of not actually putting the lens on the camera and moving it around to kind of get a tilt shift effect. And then lastly, as you could probably have seen in some of the behind the scenes video clips, we were shooting on the Canon C100 Mark II. We used this camera because it would handle audio the way we'd want, and it also had the nice Canon colors. The skin tones were beautiful in this film. So those were the main two lenses we used. We also used a Canon 60mm macro lens to try to get some tighter shots, and when we needed to have a slightly wider shot than the 85. And then we also used the Canon Nifty 50 f1.8 a few times when we really needed that focal length, when we needed to basically split between the 35 that the Sigma could give us and the 85 of the Rokinon.